Once again, into another hour of News Tonight at 10. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango and Elizabeth Nakakuni there on sign language. Into the bulletin, Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, has disowned claims by the embattled South Sudan Vice President Dr. Riek Machar, accusing Uganda of using chemical and heavy weapons in South Sudan. Speaking to UBC, the Acting Defense Information Officer, UPDF, Colonel Chris Majezi, refers to these allegations as petty, politically motivated and baseless.
It is almost 3 weeks since Uganda rushed to South Sudan to quell tensions following reports of renewed unrest. However, the move has been widely condemned, although many have applauded the gesture. Till date, Uganda justifies the need to help a neighbor whose house is under fire.
With our presence there now, it has brought in some reassuring and encouraging development.
Speaking to UBC, Colonel Chris Majezi said that the worst had befallen South Sudan to the extent of forcing foreigners to flee the country.
In fact, foreign nationals from many of the countries in Europe and North America, the United States and Canada, evacuated their nationals. They came here in Uganda to Entebbe, and others proceeded to other places because of that emerging security threat.
According to Uganda People's Defense Forces Acting Information Officer, Colonel Chris Majezi, South Sudan was headed for a civil and political war had Uganda not stepped in on time.
If the UPDF had not intervened as we did a fortnight ago, South Sudan would be in full-scale violence right now and on fire, with people dying in their hundreds or even thousands.
Uganda maintains that there was no harm in siding with the legitimate government of South Sudan.
There is a legitimate authority in South Sudan, and that is the government of South Sudan, headed by His Excellency President Salva Kiir. And we are there because the authorities in South Sudan requested the government of Uganda for assistance.
According to the UPDF, this latest intervention is backed by Uganda's long-standing relationship with the world's youngest country.
Even when they attained independence, we have continued to stand by their side. Uganda has paid a very significant price in support of the aspirations of the people of South Sudan. Our own soldiers died in South Sudan.
In a letter dated 23rd March 2025, authored by South Sudan Vice President Dr. Riek Machar, Uganda is accused of violating international and regional treaties by allegedly invading South Sudan territory with heavy weaponry.
There is no basis or truth in those allegations. I think Dr. Riek Machar is driven by other ulterior motives. For starters, he is very irritated and does not like the presence of UPDF in South Sudan because probably he thinks we stand in the way of his own personal ambitions, which is, I think, quite unfortunate.
The same letter also accuses Uganda of allegedly carrying out Air Force and mechanized strikes against civilians, as well as using harmful chemicals in South Sudan. However, this has been rubbished by the Kampala Command Center.
We do not have any chemical weapons in UPDF. We have not applied any heavy weapons anywhere. Actually, we have not been engaged as we speak in any violent hostilities with anyone.
For now, it is not yet clear as to when and how Uganda will withdraw its forces from South Sudan, but according to the UPDF, safety and security situations will determine the end. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Thank you, Robert Nyang. Now, as we look at the Sanitation Week, the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, has launched the Sanitation Week with a call for combined efforts towards improving sanitation and hygiene to reduce preventable diseases such as diarrhea. This was during the Sanitation Week celebrations aimed at promoting proper hygiene practices in Sembabule district.
The National Sanitation Week 2025 is being commemorated under the theme Sanitation for Dignity and Inclusiveness. It aims to promote proper hygiene practices and raise awareness about the importance of sanitation in disease prevention. Speaking at the launch, the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, in a speech read for her, underscored the need for stakeholders to show commitment to improve on sanitation and hygiene for ensuring good health and other components of sustainable human development.
Omuntu ne bw'ona okola ebyo naye nga waka oliko oluwokera lw'obwavu togenda kusobola olumu okwetuusaako ebyo byonna.
Dr. Herbert Nabasa, the Commissioner for Environmental Services at the Ministry of Health, observed that latrine coverage for Sembabule district stands at 16% and urged those without latrines to construct them in order to put an end to diseases.
Many people still using open defecation, and that is very bad because that's how we end up with diarrheal diseases, cholera, dysentery and others.
Nabasa added that diarrhea is one of the top 3 childhood killer diseases in the country, claiming over 33 lives daily, with 90% of cases directly attributed to inadequate water, poor sanitation, and unhygienic practices.
Today, we see about 33 people almost die due to malaria disease, and we say we can prevent this when we slash the bushes around our homes, avoid having stagnant water in our homes, and generally.
During the celebrations, several students appealed to the minister to support their creativity and hustle while they showcased their products, including liquid soap, to promote cleanliness and disease prevention.
We beg the Ministry of Health to promote the using liquid soap because it is very cheap. Bar soap is more expensive than liquid soap, and liquid soap works very well.
Today we are here to sensitize and to teach people on how to develop such structures and to have them into their homes at affordable prices.
Have made this dustbin in order to help people and preventing them from littering empty bottles in our environment, so we can collect it from here and we put it to the rubbish pit and we burn them.
The event also included health checkups, tree planting and cleaning activities.
Now, the child-sensitive social protection program that has existed for over 5 years in Uganda's refugee hosting district has had its closeout engagement. The project mainly focused on nutrition, health system strengthening, and cross-cutting, ensuring vulnerable families in refugee hosting district of West Nile had access to life-saving healthcare and nutrition.
Uganda is host to over 1.7 million refugees. These reside mainly in West Nile region, and according to Minister Betty Amongi, the child-sensitive social protection program came at a time when Uganda was going through the COVID-19 pandemic, thereby providing much-needed support to communities struggling with limited resources.
During COVID, because of the shock that affected most vulnerable people, the ministry also implemented a robust plan for the vulnerable employees at the urban areas who were living from hand to mouth, with a cash transfer that we gave to almost 300,000 Ugandans during COVID. So the child-sensitive social protection that you are closing but also rolling out is one of those critical areas that complement some of this government program. And our program broadly in the government on social protection also addresses specific patterns of child vulnerability in many ministries, which focuses on right-based approach and recognizes strategic interventions that guarantee their long-term future development.
The Child-Sensitive Social Protection Program demonstrates the effectiveness of collaboration in enhancing the lives of the most vulnerable, according to Betty Amongi, the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development.
What we call the social grant for persons with disability, and for these persons with disability and parents of children with disabilities are supported with a grant for enterprise development. It's a one-off grant and it's implemented through the local government throughout the country.
As a country, we need to maximize the capacity or put to use the capacity, full capacity of all our people. And as a ministry responsible for social protection, we are looking at Ugandans along the entire life cycle. That is from childhood up to old age and when one exits. So the social protection interventions take care of trying to minimize, mitigate vulnerability at any stage along that entire cycle. And we've been dealing with issues of child protection. We've been dealing with needs of children. This program has been focusing mainly on the refugee and the refugee host areas. Of course, as you know,
the UNICEF Uganda representative, Robin, has affirmed their commitment to fighting maternal mortality even after the closure of the project.
We are not closing out the program. We are actually looking to scale up and implement this in other areas. More women and children are accessing these services. So I think the combination of providing the means for the families to access services and enhancing the quality of services both together can make a huge impact. The lessons from this experience is going to help to scale this up in other districts.
Swedish government proudly supported the child-sensitive social protection program in Uganda since 2019, contributing $50 million. Marion Awori, UBC.
Commissioners, assistant commissioners.
The National Union for Persons with Disabilities, DIPU, is demanding that government tracks and implements all commitments made to improve lives of disabled persons in the country. In preparation for the 3rd Global Disability Summit 2025, NUDIPU says that many commitments that were made by government are still pending, which has brought about gaps in inclusion of persons with disabilities.
We also appreciate the government for increased budget allocation to special grant for persons with disabilities from 3 billion shillings to 16 billion shillings.
The Global Disability Summit 2025 aims to build momentum for disability inclusion and advance the rights of people with disabilities through international cooperation, focusing on health, equity and implementation of the United Nations Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Among other key areas and objectives are implementation of policies and accountability, recognizing well-intended commitments and bridging the gap between disability inclusion and development cooperation.
We appreciate the government of Uganda for enacting the Persons with Disabilities Act and the Mental Health Treatment Act. The 2006 National Policy on Disability has also been reviewed. However, in spite of those achievements, the commitments on the finalization of the development of the National Inclusive Education Policy, the development of the National ICT Policy for persons with disabilities, the commitment on coming up with disability employment quotas, and publication of the annual reports on the status of employment of persons with disabilities have not yet been implemented.
According to Nodipo, Uganda as a country is still lagging behind in terms of implementation of many commitments made towards disability inclusion since 2018.
It is therefore worrying that our country often makes good commitments in favor of persons with disabilities on the global scene, but struggles to implement them afterwards.
Nodipo wants government to track and honor its commitments through different ministries and agencies.
I think you are still seeing some schools that are chasing away our learners with disabilities from schools. The issue is that there is no policy framework that is guiding the schools on this kind of education. The reason they chase them away is that they fear the burden that they are going to face. And yet it's not true that there is a burden.
They have also called for inclusion in key deliberations.
We people with disabilities cannot make reference to books because we don't have books which are accessible to people with disabilities. Why? The copyright law on books.
The Global Disability Summit 2025, slated to take place in Berlin on 2nd and 3rd April 2025, will be hosted by the International Disability Alliance, the government of Germany, and the government of Jordan. Susan Naung and Andrew Sebira reporting for EBC TV.
Now in court, prosecution has again accused 9 people implicated in the case of falsely accusing Miracle Center Cathedral lead pastor Robert Kayanja of sodomy. According to the Chief State Attorney Jonathan Mwaganya, the accused are deliberately delaying giving their defense with intention of wanting to dramatize the hearing through the live media coverage.
The Chief State Attorney Jonathan Mwaganya raised the concern that the defense has persistently indicated unpreparedness to proceed with the hearing, saying this is a tactical delay to commence the defense hearing. The state also noted that one of the accused, A3, has found it normal to skip court sittings, to which he also said it's a tactical delay and prayed for issuance of his warrant of arrest.
For A3, this court hereby issues criminal summons against him to appear on the 25th of April 2025. If he chooses not to appear,
Lead lawyer Hamufret Mweseja, who was unwell and was represented by an additional counsel Davis Wesley, asked for more time as they want a fair rather than speedy hearing. In his ruling, the principal grade 1 magistrate Byarugaba Adams granted the 9 accused lawyers prayer. Magistrate Byarugaba adjourned the matter till 25th April 2025.
this court will take the proposed date of the 25th of April 2025. This is to ensure that each party is on board, and I hope that nothing will come our way on that day.
Now, women in a Park district are calling for urgent support in mitigating the devastating impact of fake seeds. Fake seeds not only waste their resources, but also rob them of their harvests.
Betty Achiena and her daughter were hard at work in their small garden, preparing for the planting season. Like many women in the rural villages of Apache district, farming is their lifeline. However, their major concern is accessing quality planting materials.
Especially it is on sunflower, where these people sell us fake seeds. When you take it to the garden, it doesn't grow. And moreover, these seedlings, a sacket which is only 1 kilo or a half, you buy it at 60,000 shillings.
Women, who are the backbone of most households, bear the brunt of this burden as they strive to feed their families and lift their communities out of poverty. At this year's belated Women's Day celebration in Apache District, Woman MP Betty Ngwala acknowledged these challenges and encouraged women to purchase seeds from licensed input shops to ensure quality and improved yields.
Especially because many women are involved in agriculture, so government has got to intervene there so that, you know, the rural woman benefits out of the seeds she grows.
She pledged to advocate for policies that address their challenges.
I'm happy that many women have been able to turn up, and I know they have gone back very, very happy.
The Women's Day celebration was a moment to honor and empower women like Beta Chena, who are key players in community development. Women are often the primary providers, educators, caregivers, and their efforts drive progress even in rural areas.
NRM government supports women, and that's why we are being empowered, and that's why the theme of today is accelerating, you know, action to help us move closer, move ahead.
The day's activities include speeches, cultural performances, and discussions focused on empowering women.
What are we going to do? So everyone must go back with the question. So we have encouraged our women, our men, and everybody from Apache Municipal or from Apache District to go back and do something that accelerates actions for gender equality.
Events like this highlight the importance of supporting women and ensuring their voices are heard. Edi Olwa, UBC News.
Enjoying the dance there. Now, the Vice Chancellor and founder of Kampala University, Professor Badiru Kateregga, has held a Thanksgiving dua to thank Allah for preserving his life. The dua was held at Kampala University Regional Gaba campus and was attended by many dignitaries.
On the fateful morning of September 9th, 2024, Professor Kateregga faced a harrowing attack at his home when one of his wives, Ewanuna Longojoli Shubaiha Irankunda, violently assaulted him. The attacker left him severely injured, resulting in severe bleeding, brain damage and trauma due to blood clotting.
We are here to thank Allah, do our shukr in this month, for having preserved your life and my life. As a person, I wish to inform you that I'm still under recovery process.
Professor Kateregga escaped death when his own biological children in the country and those abroad were tipped by a helper, thus arranging for emergency medical assistance.
We want to thank you for being here. We thank you for loving and supporting our father. It has been a very difficult, challenging ride. Naye, because of his love and because the way he brought us up, we keep standing. We're standing together. We're here for him.
We're very, very, very happy to be here with you. We're very, very happy to have him here with us, because this might not have been the case. We're twamutuukira batugamba in 4 hours. Essaawa nnya zokka senga tebaamulongoosora olunaku.
Mu biseera ebyo twali tulowooza oba tumuflying because lwe lwali lusoosa mujjanjabirwa mu Uganda. Kati nga twali mu friction nga tugamba tumutwale ku International Hospital Kampala naye ekintu ekimutuukako ne tukubira Vice President yali ready nga jet bweri flying in Nairobi was mukwano gwa is a national hero. Vice President natugamba temumukola there's a jet prepared mukole paperwork here naena tumutwale.
This Friday, Professor Kateregga organized a Thanksgiving dua at Kampala University Original Campus Gaba to thank Allah for preserving his life. The dua prayers were led by Mityana District Kadhi, Sheikh Ali Gasaleko and Butambala District Kadhi. Professor Katerega regretted the mayhem and injuries he sustained following the attack. Katerega said due to the injuries sustained, he abandoned his house and remains under care of medics at a rehabilitation facility.
So I beg you to pray for me, as I also pray for you.
Amen, Ya Rabbi.
As I am already displaced, living in exile in my own country.
This event was also used to dedicate Kampala University and its other branches to God.
We are here to pray for this great institution to continue to survive in this holy month of Ramadan. And today is the 27th day of Ramadan.
Following the brutal attack that happened on 9th September 2024, Professor Katerega has made radical changes at Kampala University with his children now in charge. The dua was attended by the Iranian ambassador to Uganda, the rector of IUIU, the vice-chancellor of Kampala University, and residents from Kabasanda Butambala, where Professor Katerega hails from, among others. The evening climaxed with a breaking fast and iftari dinner. Amwaiva Njuko. Allah Akbar.
Kama nemo pocket, tambula body street, issues are my target. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. I'm in a plantation, but on a global mission. Internet ambition, full condition. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. Oro cash is gone, netaga yo kaloni, niga mukafoni, money in the zone. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. We are good.
With you and MTN together, our ambition is unstoppable.
We are what? Unstoppable!
Amazina ganje ninyetekwa Seruhanga John Bosco ninduga mu district ya Rukungiri ndio muhanguzi wa miliyoni 18 na Uganda National Rotary nzahangwire urwo mukuzana star 278 hash ngafuna message eriko kamunje muhanguzi nashemererwa konka nabaza kugira ngo nedi y'abafere sente ziriyo zona bakaziteka ko nazihangwire.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Agriculture is Uganda's economic backbone, employing about 70% of the working population and contributing 20% of the GDP. As the world becomes a digital global village, ICT has proven to increase productivity in the agricultural value chain. UKUSAF, through its Strategic Plan 3, recognizes the importance of access and usage of ICT-based tools, information and knowledge for farmers by providing them the needed skills to live, learn, work and participate in a digital society.
We came up with a project which we took to UKSAF, and we're happy that UKSAF supported it. That project is called ICT for Farmers. What did we get from ICT for Farmers? We managed to skill up to 100,000 farmers.
Welcome back from that short break as we move ahead into our next segment. From combating illegal fishing to boosting aquaculture, the journey has been both challenging and transformative for Minister of State for Fisheries, Helen Ador, who took over the fisheries docket late in 2019, envisions a future where fish will surpass coffee and foreign exchange earnings.
Right at the shores of Lake Victoria, Uganda's largest freshwater resource. One thing is clear: the country's fisheries sector is vital to millions of livelihoods. Over the past 5 years, the Ministry of Fisheries, under the leadership of Helen Adoa, has implemented key policies.
I feel what you feel. I have been where you are.
This has ensured sustainability through curbing illegal fishing and promoting commercial aquaculture. The journey might have been challenging, but promising and productive.
I, Helen Adoa, swear in the name of Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Uganda.
When Helen Adoa assumed office in late 2019, Uganda's fishing industry had setbacks, including the COVID-19, illegal fishing, depleted fish stocks, followed by concerns over export bans.
The most important thing to me is the sensitization of the fishermen, the awareness of the fishermen and all the chain, value chain of fisheries has been brought to light. It has made everyone who is involved, whether traders, fishermen, and all the Ugandans have got to know that the sector is very, very important.
Not even the outbreak of COVID-19 that came shortly after her appointment could stop her from putting right what she found wrong in the fisheries sector.
There is a lot of overfishing, and they are fighting one another. There is a lot of intrigue. There is a lot of fighting. So government has to put a specific project to address the fishermen and the fishing communities.
So, strict enforcement measures were rolled out. Specialized marine patrols, registration of all fishing boats, and introduction of legal-sized fishing gear.
We still need to bring a system where the soldiers have to handle issues from the catching of the victim or illegal fisher to the final bit of it. That will bring more results. So for me, their presence is still very important, because managing a fisherman is one very stubborn person.
The ministry has championed aquaculture as an alternative to wild fishing. Through government-supported fish farming projects, production has increased.
I want to see a budget which is intended to improve the fisheries sector. And if we give our attention to the fisheries sector, we can make a lot of money in this country.
So, Uganda's fish exports have grown, contributing significantly to the economy, with over 12% of agricultural GDP.
Fishermen used to think the lake is just the free resource that God has given. For that matter, it doesn't matter how they fish. They fish the way they wish, But now they know that as they enter the lake, it's not just about him, it's about his children, about the future, and about Ugandans.
But there are challenges: climate change effects, high production costs, and ensuring compliance with global standards.
And we can be able to make a lot of money with the dirty fish also done. Cutting it, remove the fish more and throw it back to the water and take the fish more. So such people should be arrested and should not be allowed to overstay in the water.
The 5 years of policy reforms, enforcement and innovation, Uganda's fisheries sector has seen significant transformation. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Now, at least 420 Ugandan migrant workers who returned home in the past 5 years have undergone entrepreneurial training to help them reintegrate economically into society. The initiative, dubbed Better Regional Migration Management, is supported by UK International Development International Labour Organization.
Wanyama Neves left for Dubai on a waste visa. Upon its expiry, her attempt to renew it failed, forcing her to leave her waitress job. Deported with no savings except the Uganda shillings 3 million she had sent to her mother during her work period, she faced a grim reality upon her return.
I went on a visit visa. Unfortunately, my visa went off, and then they had to cancel it out. So after cancelling it out, I was there for 2 years. After cancelling it out, I was deported from Dubai to come back here in Uganda. And then the experience of being deported, my dear, it's not really very easy. They arrest you, they torture you, and then you reach an extent like, okay, let me just go back home.
The story is the same with Mildred Mwibaza, who traveled to Turkey after securing a kindergarten teaching job. However, upon her arrival, she was forced into domestic work, a job she could not handle. With her dreams crushed, she returned home empty-handed.
I had gone as a kindergarten teacher, but I didn't get it. Instead, someone told me you work as a housemaid. I neglected the job because I couldn't handle children, so I returned. It affected me so much because I had plans as a person which I didn't achieve.
These are just a few of the countless stories of despair among Ugandan migrant returnees. Many come back financially drained, psychologically scarred, and without the skills to start afresh. However, there is now hope at the end of the tunnel. Wezesha Impact, in partnership with the UK International Development Foundation and International Labour Organization, launched a $200,000 training program aimed at equipping returnees with entrepreneurial skills.
When these young people go out there, they make some money. Some of them lose it, others save it. But oftentimes they don't know what to do with the money. They don't have ideas on how to generate business ideas. Our focus for this program has mainly been giving them the skills in entrepreneurship. You know, oftentimes you can have your hard skill, you know how to make things with arts and crafts and many other things, but if you don't have the entrepreneurial skill to turn that hard skill into a business, then it is nothing.
Wezesha Impact analysis shows that over 50% of these returnees returned with little or no savings, often due to mismanagement by relatives.
Some of these young people return when they have lost hope because they've been tortured out there, and some have made the money but it has been eaten or wasted by their parents or their friends who they sent the money to. So restoring their hope that they can still become somebody and make a living is another thing that we have been doing as part of this program.
Some of them come back when their savings are finished. That's why we have the option of a loan, so such that if you don't have any savings, you can borrow money and run a business.
Crispus.
Bukala Sea Health Center 3 in Bududa district has benefited material to boost service delivery from the My Soul Super Village competition by NG Energy Access Uganda. Let's hear more in this report.
NG Energy Access Uganda has delivered equipment that included 5 beds with one precisely for the maternity ward at Bukala Sea Health Center 3 in Bududa.
in compensation for the efforts made by the community, because we are very grateful to the community, we have offered 5 beds to the health center, and we hope to improve the conditions of stay of the people who come to the health center through those beds donated by NG. So it's the concept actually of shared value. I really believe that today it's not possible actually to make business without satisfying the needs of the populations. The value I create, the value my company creates, I want actually to share it with the community I serve.
Bukalasi Health Center 3 serves more than 5,000 people, with women and children the most regular visitors. These will be the main beneficiaries of these beds in both the outpatients department and maternity ward.
We are so blessed to have MySoul offering us these beds, and we are so happy they gave us an additional delivery bed, because we are always having an overwhelming number of mothers who are delivering within the facility. I think in Bududa it is one of the facilities which is having high number.
To qualify for this donation, the community took part in the MySoul Super Village competition by Energy Access Uganda. The competition rewards the best performing villages in sales and loan repayments and reflects NG's resolve of giving back to communities.
This community won a prize at the MySoul Super Village competition 2024. It arrived second actually. We are very proud actually to give back to the community beds to the health center. This community made great efforts actually in equipping the households in new solar kits. It's the products actually MySoul sells in Uganda. In repaying the kits already bought, because 99% of our kits are sold on credit.
Already, Adjumani's Nyumanzi refugee settlement has benefited solar lighting to boost security, while Iganga's education will sprout courtesy of Energy Access Uganda. Energy Access Uganda is a pay-as-you-go solar and mini-grids provider that is determined to ensure affordability and reliability with life-changing services.
Aspiring Member of Parliament for Ujumbura constituency, Frank Rukanirwa, has called for unity within the Muslim community, urging them to overcome religious divisions and the pursuit of development.
Nkaishomero umanya umuhati wanje kiboko mbona abo kugira mukandi mumanya kuyanyesire umutima gumukanzira munyiruke tazenanda kuntera no nabe takishoba ngona konkani njyaho hanga wo kuntambira ubundi mutima ukagira nguzayo kwara kutera akweta nkaishomero umanya umuhati wanje kiboko mbona abo kugira mukandi mumanya kuyanyesire umutima gumukanzira munyiruke tazenanda kuntera no nabe takishoba ngona konkani njyaho hanga wo kuntambira ubundi mutima ukagira nguzayo kwara kutera akweta nkaishomero umanya umuhati wanje kiboko mbona abo kugira mukandi mumanya kuyanyesire umutima gumukanzira munyiruke tazenanda kuntera no nabe takishoba ngona konkani njyaho hanga wo kuntambira ubundi mutima ukagira nguzayo kwara kutera
Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, in collaboration with Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, have officially held a groundbreaking ceremony for development of an irrigation scheme in Atari Basin.
Residents of Kwen and Bulambuli are in celebratory mood following the groundbreaking ceremony for the Atari Basin irrigation scheme. This project for the development of the irrigation scheme in Atari Basin area is supported by Japan International Cooperation Agency that has sunk more than $50 million.
Agriculture is the backbone of any country, including Uganda. You have a wonderful land here, and together with Japanese technology and engineering, the place will be better and the people will be better off. I thank you for the government of Uganda and the local people over here. Uganda is a land of peace, so I hope the community will work together and make this land even more wealthier.
Minister for Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries Frank Tumwebaze, who promised a tractor each for Kwen and Bulambuli districts, decries the changing weather patterns that can only be addressed through such interventions.
There is a growing need to adjust and adopt new production methods, harnessing nature's endowments as opposed to passively depending on nature. And that's where irrigation infrastructure like this one comes in handy to solve the problem. Irrigation is one of such means. It will not only address the challenges of erratic weather patterns, but also ensure all year-round production. It will also solve the problem of flooding in lowland areas like this one and desert areas.
This project, which incorporates Bulambuli's 122 parishes and the 101 of Kwena, will benefit over 1,380 homesteads on the 680 hectares of land that government helped secure.
Through this project, so I hope that this irrigation scheme will contribute for control the water, to disseminate the water to the huge areas here.
So the purpose of the irrigation is to sustain agricultural production and productivity, such that the farmers are busy on farm from Jan to December throughout the year, such that we increase and improve on our food security. And when you improve on the food security, you improve on the well-being of the local population, you improve on the export development for the country. So that is the purpose of the irrigation schemes.
The Japan International Cooperation Agency sponsored irrigation scheme will help increase productivity in rice and maize, among others, with assurance of an all-year production. The collaboration with the Japan International Cooperation Agency has so far yielded irrigation schemes in Ingenge, Doho, Achomai, and Atari areas in eastern Uganda.
Kama nemo pocket, tambula body street, issues are my target. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. I'm in a plantation, but on a global mission, internet ambition, full condition. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. Oro cash is gone, netaga yo kaloni, niga mukafoni, money in the zone. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. We are good.
With you and MTN together, our ambition is unstoppable.
We are what? Unstoppable!
Now into the world of business, farmers in Amoria district have started adopting coffee growing as part of poverty eradication. According to Amoria District Agriculture Officer Moses Okim, so far 5 farmers have positively adopted the initiative, mainly on 5 acres.
District have so far embraced the coffee growing initiative as part of poverty eradication in their district. This was disclosed during the Farmers Diversity Seed Fair organized by National Agricultural Research Organization in partnership with Buginyanya Zonal Agricultural Research and Development Institute, Food and Agriculture Organization at Kuju Sub-County Headquarters, Amuria District. The Farmers Diversity Seed Fair was held under the theme Building Resilience to Climate Change Through Exchange of High-Quality Seeds. Amuria District Agriculture Officer Moses Okimu revealed that the district has incorporated procurement of coffee seedlings for farmers in its development plan starting this financial year.
In Amuria now, we can be able to grow coffee. We have tested with some farmers who have grown coffee and it really performs very well. You find that when it has fruited to the level that it even breaks the branches. So we looked at it and said, no, why don't we take this further? So we are quite sure that coffee is going to become one thing that Amuria will be proud of besides the traditional cash crops like cotton.
I say, let me go and taste coffee in a Milimilongere village. I found that the coffee can grow better and even the yield is good. So I want to advise people now to grow coffee.
The Director of Research at NARO, Buginyanya Zadri, Dr. Nasa Kasozi, explains that they have come up with over 10 varieties of Robusta coffee and also expect to release Arabica coffee soon for highland ecologies.
So we are encouraging farmers, and as the President has already mentioned, that coffee is the way to move people from subsistence farming, commercial, and also improve their livelihood.
Field Officer Coordinator of Lango and Teso Sub-Region, David Dickens Ogwang, emphasized sustainability, ownership and adoption of major interventions as this project comes to an end this year.
It's about, because of the climate change, it's about conservation of those seeds. Our purpose is just to make also that farmers showcase what they have seen Mori has shown.
When we look at this theme, it resonates with us as a district. Therefore, when we look at different varieties of seeds, especially those that are drought resistant, that works for us here at Amuria.
Farmers have also been sensitized on advantages of adapting new technologies of inputs that are friendly to the climate change.
It is also something of value. That's why we're also advocating, sensitizing the farmers that we also go for it, for coffee planting also.
More farmers pledge to grow coffee if seeds and knowledge are provided for them. The 5-year coffee project is funded by Global Environment Facility and the Government of Uganda, with co-funding from partners like NARO.
Now, still in business, stakeholders in the banking sector have recommended supplicated technologies to bypass cyber security threats. Equity Bank Uganda Managing Director Gift Shonko wants innovators to develop financial solutions with high-degree data protection features.
Protection and safety in the financial technologies ecosystem, stakeholders in the banking sector propose matching software to mitigate risks of cybersecurity.
Is to mitigate the cyber risk. So for any solution that we might come up with working with the fintech partners, we have to come up with strong and robust mitigations to make sure that we mitigate on cybersecurity risk.
In a special innovators and bankers engagement, several recommendations have been given, including appropriate software to improve data protection.
Sharing what is there, but let's look at what are new opportunities that we can create together. Because I don't believe there is a free lunch. There is no free lunch. So what we need to do is to have an incremental mindset of co-creating with fintechs.
While the country is vying for digitalized economy, much of the population is technology literate, which leaves gaps for unscrupulous people to manipulate others.
The core of the infrastructure or of the vertical, which is the education space, you're finding that they're still using very manual processes to handle their day-to-day operations. So, I mean, policy at that standpoint would be very necessary, and support from government to onboard or adopt such solutions across the board.
To minimize working in silos, stakeholders in the fintech ecosystem are encouraged to adopt interoperability principle of sharing data centers.
So in terms of individual liability, where do we have ourselves covered in it? So we know we are a young market and we are moving towards the right direction for creating opportunities, but indeed we want to ask that, can we appreciate the role of insurance in the intersections between technology and financial services?
Customers of different financial institutions are faced with problems of fraud and cybersecurity threats, where many have been conned due to inadequate digital knowledge.
Sports Kampala Queens Football Club has had its last training session ahead of the FUFA Women's Super League game that will be played at Philip Omondi Stadium.
We are playing Rennes on Saturday. Rennes is not an easy team, it's a stubborn team, but we are ready and focused to play against Rennes, and we expect 3 points from them so that we continue topping the table and to achieve the trophy of this season. To our fans, we really thank you for supporting us. You've been always there for us, and we call you upon to come and support us like ever before. Thank you.
Our game against Rennes, I will say the team is prepared. Yeah, we remember to play with them. The team was a bit physical, aggressive, tactically good. Yeah, I believe their coaches have done some good work to put the team together. And looking at the previous game they also played this weekend, I believe in our ladies that when they come, they will be able to win for us the game, able to display the good football that we always talk about. And here we are at home, so we believe we shall get the positive results. About the injuries, we do not have any injury in our camp. I would say the ladies are all good and set for the game.
Now, always a pleasure having you joining us and allowing us into your space. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango. Elizabeth Nakakuni has been with us on sign language right from 8 o'clock. From the entire news team, it is a good night from us, but UBC continues.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
An amazing off-the-hook youth program brings you an array of fun, exciting, and educative segments you do not want to miss. From red carpet moments to proms, youth empowerment programs to youth gig vibes, and so much more, Teens Crown will get you hooked. Only on UBC TV every Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Don't miss.